The following program is intended for mature audiences.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And download every episode and more at basicallyasportshow.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg,
Mike.
And you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Are you freaking serious? I don't understand what that means.
We've talked about it already, but supposedly the NHL and the NHLPA are going to officially announce the 2016 World Cup of Hockey.
Oh, for God's sakes.
That will consist of the U.S., Canada, Russia, Sweden, Finland, Czech Republic, and the European All-Stars and North American Young Guns.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Are they aware that neither of those two are countries?
Well, I'm not watching until Jamaica gets its rightful place at the table. I'm not watching it anyway. I want a Jamaican hockey team.
Trinidad and Tobago. D2 for life.
Tell me a Jamaican hockey team would be the greatest thing since their bobsled team. Come on.
Why don't they just invite Latvia and Slovenia and call it a day?
Here's an idea. Why not just not do it?
Because, well, the NHL wants more money. But what the problem is the NHL makes zero money off the Olympics.
So they want to have their own Olympics, basically.
They want to have their own Olympics, and they want it to be all, and the NHLPA wants it to only be NHL players. So they can't have a Latvian team or Slovenian team because there's only one or two NHL players on each team.
Kopitar.
Yeah. Kopitar and his brother plays for the ECHL team in Ontario. But yeah, they want it to be all NHL team, all NHL players. So then that's why you get European All-Star team, which would be Slovakia, Slovenia, Latvia, Germany.
Because if it's all NHL players only, then they would not have enough to field entire teams from. Okay, I see.
Right.
Speaking of, go ahead.
The thing that's dumb about it for me is that, like, these guys do these sort of tournaments for the pride of country, right?
Yeah.
You know, but like Mike said, European All-Stars and North American Under-23 are not countries. If you're a U.S. or an American kid, you grow up, dreaming of playing for Team USA, Team Canada, doing things at the Olympics. You don't grow up dreaming of playing for the North American youth squad against Team Canada. Or
nobody has aspirations to play on the North American B team.
Here's the thing, too, that you got to think about with this thing, okay? This is basically hockey's version of the World Baseball Classic. No one is going to pay any attention to this, except for hardcore hockey fans.
Right.
And that's not going to be enough to get the windfall of cash that they're hoping for. Ask baseball about it. They'll tell you. I mean, out of the three of us, I was the only one, I bet, that watched any of the World Baseball Classic last time around.
Yep, that would be a true statement. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch much of it.
I think I watched part of the first one, and then the U.S. got knocked out too quick in the second one.
The last Baseball World Classic game I watched was when Canada and Mexico had that huge brawl.
Right. Yeah.
Well, the only thing fun about it, and what have they had now? 2 or 3? I don't even know. And see, and that's the thing.
They've had three.
I'm a baseball geek, and I can't even tell you how many of those things they've had. The only fun thing I ever had with that was when the Netherlands got on a roll and knocked off a couple of teams. That was fun.
The Netherlands, all right.
Yeah, and
I love it with the head coach of a bunch of Arubans.
Right, but still, that was cool, and the rest of it is just.
Hey, it's still a colony. It counts.
The best thing about it is that
if
you're just jonesing for some baseball, I guess it's there to watch if you want to. But honest to God, I would rather watch a spring training game between two MLB teams.
I'd rather watch one of those spring training games where, like, the Yankees play Florida State.
Right.
The problem with the World Baseball Classic, and we've talked about it before, but it bears repeating, is how nebulous they are with nationalities. It's like if you're an American of Italian descent, congratulations, Team Italy.
Mike Piazza, you're part of Team Italy.
Right. I think
Ryan Braun, you're Jewish. Team Israel. All right. How many words of Hebrew can you speak? None. That's fine.
That's fine. You can pass. That's all we're worried about. Yeah. I think
just,
I'm Irish enough to play for Team Ireland because I think I have some relatives that were from Ireland like 150 years ago, so I guess that makes me Irish.
But by MLB standards, you could, and you know what? Given the state of Irish baseball, you could probably make the team too.
Ooh, that's something to think about. That's something to think about.
Oh no! My dad makes this joke every year whenever, every time the Olympic hockey tournament starts up. He looks to me and he goes, "You know what? We should try out for Team Israel's hockey team. I bet you we could make it."
They have one.
You really should, Mike, because if you did and they made it, you could get us tickets and we could all go.
Yeah, but then I'd actually have to be in net as the Israeli goaltender against Team Canada, and that would just be painful.
Just think though, during breaks of play, you could get autographs, people could sign your helmet and your pads and all that. How cool would that be?
The Israeli hockey team, I don't know if they've changed it, but the last I checked, they actually had a really cool logo.
I was going to say the uniforms would be badass, wouldn't they? Well, you just got a Star of David on there, right?
The last I saw,
the logo was like a Star of David, also infused with a dove.
But it's an angry dove punching a hockey stick. Okay, I found it. This is the Israeli hockey team logo. This is brilliant.
Okay, we got to see this. This is cool. All right. Wow, it is. I thought you were joking.
No.
It's an angry dove with a hockey stick. Holy hell, I thought you were just kidding.
No.
Wow. I thought you were absolutely joking.
Your fantasy hockey team logo, Mike. I don't know.
That should be the logo for the whole damn league. What are you talking about?
But do you want to talk about the Pro Bowl jerseys that were leaked?
So were those finally released?
Yes, they're on the main page of the mothership.
Oh, well, let's see. Okay, these are awful.
Yeah, they are.
Is that black and orange or some sort of...
No, it's probably some form of really dark gray.
These aren't good. They aren't good at all.
Aren't they just reverses of last year?
No.
What they're supposed to be?
No. This year they have those little shoulder triangle things that they debuted.
Oh, that they put on Washington.
Yeah.
The armpit spikes.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I see it.
Which is funny because someone in the thread said, "Cool to see the Pro Bowl jerseys paying homage to the iconic jaws of Husky Stadium."
Which also pays homage to the tusks of a razorback.
Oh, for God's sakes.
I'm just disappointed that we're seeing neon green and neon orange again, because last year when they unveiled that color scheme, the whole thing was, we're not doing it conference versus conference, so we can go wild with colors. Well, okay, but don't you kind of defeat that purpose by using the same color scheme 2 years in a row?
Oh, God, you know what just struck me? The ones on the right, those are the Browns' new uniforms, guys.
Enjoy that, Greg.
I'm done, man. That's... Speaking of that, I told Zach this before we did the football show on Tuesday. After that epic collapse by the Packers in the NFC Championship, it occurred to me then that I thought, I am so 100% a Packers fan. I would have never gotten that riled up about a Browns game, and that's all I want to say about it.
Before we start talking about football, because we got to get around to it, I just want to make sure that both your guys' balls are properly inflated.
I feel like I need an adult here to talk about that question.
It's just the funniest phrasing that could have happened.
I know.
Deflated balls. I was sitting around thinking of every possible way I could make fun of deflated balls. Today in class, in my favorite class I've ever taken in my whole life, sports journalism, and where the homework is watch sports and
that's a tough assignment.
Read ESPN. There's no textbook. The textbook is ESPN.com and Yahoo Sports and Fox Sports. I'm like, yes. Anyway, we are part of our thing in the class. We're going to discuss, events going on in sports, to have discussion, just to have conversations and see how the media's covering them. So we went through all that today. And as class was ending, he's like, all right, so I think we're done unless we can think of any more ways to emasculate Bill Belichick. And I'm like, well, he did that himself by deflating his balls. And the teacher just kind of looked down at the ground. And he just took a pause, looked back up, and he's like, I've got nothing.
There's such a wealth of jokes there, and I just feel so inadequate because I can't come up with any good ones to go with it.
Well, you know who else is inadequate?
Who?
A team with deflated balls.
But what's worse?
Somebody
though,
made a Cialis commercial with Brady and Belichick.
But what is worse, Zach? Being the team with deflated balls, or being the team that got their shit kicked out of them by the team with deflated balls?
But that's not relevant, Mike.
But
that's not relevant to the issue.
But to me, it is, because it's. I guess it comes down to practicality.
Okay, but here's
there was no miscarriage of justice, is what I'm saying.
The Patriots would have won if they didn't do it, but they still did it.
Right.
And the fact
No, they did. That's the thing that has got.
If they did do it.
If they did do it, but that's the thing. So many people are assuming that they did.
Because there was reports that 11 of the 12 balls were disinflated.
Yes.
And that the Ravens were saying that, yeah, we felt that the balls were a little deflated.
Okay, first of all,
The Ravens felt the Patriots' balls and thought they were deflated as well.
Yes.
But here's the thing on the Ravens. Here's the thing about the Ravens. I discount everything they said because they claimed that the Patriots were cheating in that game before the whole ball thing came out. They were claiming the Patriots cheated simply because Bill Belichick managed to outcoach them.
Yeah, that was them being sore losers.
So, but you see my point here. It's like, okay, well, if you thought there was an issue with the game balls, why didn't you come sooner? Now it just looks like you're piggybacking off something else, and seeing that you have a history of whining when the Patriots beat you, I can't take what you have to say seriously in terms of the Ravens.
In terms of the history, it's one game.
Well, but in terms of the Colts, first of all, there were reports, yes, that those balls were deflated. But as far as I know, the NFL has only said, yes, they were deflated. The NFL has not actually said, we know that the Patriots did this. And
well, then how else would they happen? Like the magical ball deflation fairy?
Believe it or not, replace magical ball deflation fairy with the natural processes of how these things work.
I understand that, but it's 2 pounds of pressure.
That's significant. That's significant. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Okay. If it's significant,
for a football, that's a lot of air pressure to just lose because it got cold.
If it's significant, then why didn't the referees who handle the balls after every play?
Sorry.
Why didn't they notice anything? On top of that,
the referees are old. Maybe they're just used to deflated balls.
They're used to handling saggy, deflated balls.
on top of that, though, we have video evidence of the Panthers heating up their game balls.
No, it's just heating up their balls. Come on, we can't throw a game ball in here at all.
And Aaron Rodgers has said that he deflates them all the time, and he goes, sometimes
he overinflates his balls.
He overinflates, but he says that sometimes the refs catch it, sometimes they don't.
And Eli Manning likes to scuff up his balls.
Well,
I know the ball manipulation is something that every NFL team does. But wasn't that also kind of the rationale behind the bounty thing?
The bounty thing and the I don't know if it was behind the Spygate thing, and that's the thing too. And somebody's
everyone does it. But that doesn't matter. You're the ones that got caught.
The difference between Spygate and this is that in the Spygate instance, the wrong that was being perpetrated, one, not only could have had a fundamental impact on how the game was played out, but that it also put players in the league at serious risk when they played the Saints. In this case, I doubt anyone was at risk for serious injury because of these balls being lighter. And two, I don't think. I watched that game. I'm sorry, the Colts were, by every measure, the worst team. There is this.
I understand that, but that doesn't have anything to do with the fact that if they tampered with the balls and wanted a blowout, or if they didn't tamper with the balls and wanted a blowout, that has no correlation. It doesn't matter. It's like somebody said on the board. It's like if you do really well on a test, but you happen to look at somebody else's paper for a couple answers, that doesn't mean that you didn't cheat. Just because you got a good grade on the test doesn't negate the fact that you still cheated to get
except the action of actually the action of looking at someone else's test and getting the answers and then putting them onto your own test. That is a direct correlation. You saw what someone else wrote down, you wrote it down, you got credit for the answer that you did not come to on your own. Okay. what I remember seeing from that AFC Championship game, the big thing that led to the Patriots' blowout of the Colts, it didn't have anything to do with ball pressure. It had to do with the fact that the Colts couldn't stop the goddamn run. Right. And so that's why I have trouble getting really worked up about this, because I'm going, add 2 pounds to the weight of that ball. Does that suddenly make the defensive line close up any better? Does that actually...
No, but here's the thing.
What it does is means that the Patriots were following the rules. The problem isn't necessarily that the Patriots, that the ball deflation had anything to do with the outcome of the game. It's the fact that the Patriots, if this ends up being true, that they did tamper with them, that despite being one of the best teams of the last 15 years, the best team of this era of football, they still feel the need to bend the rules occasionally.
And it's just another specter hanging over everything they've done. You had the Spygate thing with the video cameras, and now this. And you're right, Mike, the deflated balls had nothing to do with the outcome of the game, but it doesn't change the fact that if they in fact were the reason behind those balls being not having enough pressure in them, it doesn't change that whether they won or not. It doesn't change the fact that they still cheated. But I think it's a point Zach's trying to make. No matter how well they did, that's of no consequence here. The fact remains that they still did something they weren't supposed to do.
Because they didn't need to either. That's the thing. It's if you're this good and you know you're this good, and I don't think anyone going into the game, unless something really strange happened, felt that the Colts were going to end up winning this thing. But the fact of the matter is that you still, what does that serve other than either making you feel more confident or feel that it's going to give you an advantage over the other team?
Okay, if that is the case and deflating the balls serves no practical advantage, then why is it wrong?
Because it's a rule.
It's a rule.
Is it also a rule to overinflate the balls? I guess I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
And if that's let's start tossing Aaron Rodgers' past couple of wins.
Well, no, you don't understand. It's different because that's Aaron Rodgers.
And he didn't exactly get caught doing it.
He's admitted. He said sometimes the refs catch him, sometimes they don't.
To Mike's point, I do think that had this been a different team, it probably wouldn't be as big of a deal. But the Patriots have this reputation.
The Patriots have this reputation, but and my biggest point is that all of this aside, both all three of us are talking as if we know for a fact this actually happened. As far as I know, the only findings the NFL in their investigation of this have released so far is the balls were lighter. They have not said the Patriots actually did.
You connect the dots.
But you connect the dots, but at the same time,
it's a reasonable assumption to think that 2 pounds of air pressure don't just leave the ball.
It's a reasonable assumption to a point, but then you also have to realize that the people doing this investigation, they have functioning brains. They can figure that out too. And if
this is the commissioner's office of the NFL. What the Patriots should have learned is that if they had just deflated these balls in an elevator, nobody would have known at the NFL. They would have never found out. Nobody knows what goes inside an elevator.
No.
My point is the fact that the people investigating this went through the processes to determine that the balls were in fact lighter. For them to get to that point, but still not say, and the Patriots did it,
because they're not investigating it. They just said, they were.
But
deflated,
that says
so now they're investigating how they actually got deflated. That's where they're at right now.
That says to me that they have yet to come across proof that the Patriots actually broke the rules. And if there's no proof that the Patriots broke the rules, then everyone calling for Super Bowl wins to be revoked. And
that's my next question.
Back up. Hold on to that. I'm just going to bring up a point here with the lack of evidence. So then we should all just assume that Barry Bonds, we have no proof that he did steroids. All we've done is connect the dots. His head got bigger, he got bigger, but that's not proof. I'm just saying.
I understand that, but at the same time, for everyone's almost universal hatred of Barry Bonds, his name is still going to go into the Hall of Fame. He's still the home run leader. So so in a lot of ways, he's probably not going to get voted into the Hall of Fame, but he's still the home run leader. He still has all the records and the accomplishments. So to your point, Greg, it's actually a similar situation because, we don't have proof that Barry Bonds did steroids, and because of that, he's going to go down as the greatest home run hitter of all time. And it's the same, and it's kind of the same thing with the Patriots. Look, at the end of the day, if there is no proof that the Patriots actually broke any rule here, then there is nothing. Then all this moaning about, how they're cheaters, and we need to put asterisks next to everything, is just a bunch of crap. Because
I think that's also a leap to try and
and
take away all the Patriots' accomplishments because of that. I think that's ridiculous.
No,
I'm not making crap up, though. I'm just repeating sentiments I have seen expressed.
My only thing with it is that and I look at it this way: it's a shame whether they did it or not. There's a specter hanging over them, and it's unfortunate because, like Zach said, I think they are without question the best team of the last 15 years. You really can't argue.
One of the best teams of all time.
If
they win this Super Bowl, they're up there.
I think
they probably have a better argument than the 70s Steelers,
I think,
the 90s Cowboys.
Win or lose, I think you got to put them up there as one of the best of all time because in this era, it is so difficult to remain that consistently good. I mean, who else has done it to the level that these guys have? I mean, how many times have they missed the playoffs since they went to the Super Bowl in 2001?
Twice.
Twice?
There was twice. I remember after they missed the playoffs after their first Super Bowl, and then there was the year that Tom Brady got hurt and Matt Castle basically justified his career.
But he still went 11-5.
He still went 11-5, but because of the way that they did miss the playoffs that year. Yes.
But yeah, so win or lose, I think they've already established themselves as one of the great all-time teams. And what I don't like about this is because if they did deflate the balls, they didn't need to. And I don't know if they did or not, but I just don't like the fact that the specter's hanging over it. I think that people saying, well, Belichick shouldn't be allowed to coach the game, and all that's a bunch of nonsense. I mean, because
but this leads to my next question. Mm-hmm. If it is determined that the Patriots did tamper with the balls, what punishment does the NFL need to levy? Because obviously, like when they did Spygate and they just took away draft picks, taking away draft picks from one of the best well-run organizations in the league isn't going to do a whole lot to them. I think you should suspend Bill Belichick for the Super Bowl.
I would actually go along with that. If it is determined that they did do this, then I think banning Belichick from the Super Bowl is one of the best things. And I would tack on losing draft picks on top of that just to make a point.
Right, because at this point he's a repeat offender.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah, that's true.
I do think banning Belichick. Look, all this talk about vacating past Super Bowl wins, and again, I know neither of you two have said that. I'm just kind of addressing sentiments that I've seen expressed elsewhere.
I mean, this isn't the NCAA.
That's just stupid. Okay, no one's going to go back in time and say, oh, yeah, if it weren't for those cheaters, Donovan McNabb would be a rightful Super Bowl champ. No, not at all. But I do think a fair punishment, if this does indeed turn out to be, deliberate on the case of the Patriots, is Belichick, take draft picks away and ban Belichick from the Super Bowl. I think that's more than fair.
Yeah, I suppose. I just don't know that the NFL is going to let that happen. I think if they do get caught and it is proven, what you're going to see is a hefty fine. There's no way Roger Goodell, especially Roger Goodell, is going to let something like that hang over the biggest event of his season every year. I'm not saying he shouldn't be suspended. I just think he will be. But it's probably the right punishment, but it'll never happen.
Mike, you keep bringing up the fact that the Colts got dump trucked.
Another thing on that, to kind of go into another sentiment I've seen expressed elsewhere. Look, people shut up about the Colts are the rightful AFC champions because it's just not. I'm sorry, if you watch the same game I did, there's no way. I don't have the same festering hatred for the Colts now that Peyton Manning's gone. I actually really like Andrew Luck as like a player and as he kind of seems like
as a Civil War general.
As a Civil War general, he does seem like an upstanding Union commander. But so I actually don't have anything against the Colts here. I'm just saying it's clear that they weren't the better team. So that's where a lot of my lack of outrage is coming from. It's like if this was a close game and it came down to a play or two, then yeah. But,
okay. Well then, but this is what I'm going to say then, because it didn't have an effect on that game. Mm-hmm. But if the Patriots have been doing this for a while, you look back at the Ravens game, which is much closer, and
yes.
Maybe it did have an effect. Who's to say? Maybe it did.
Maybe
you look at some of their closer wins this year, and you say, well, maybe.
Maybe it did.
It puts a doubt on a lot of things. It does.
Maybe, you know what? If it did happen in that Ravens game, maybe it did affect that game. But then again, the Ravens weren't shy about calling foul because Belichick outcoached them. So I think if there was any legitimate concern there, they would have come out with it before these accusations came out. The way it seems to me is that the Ravens, quite honestly, got outcoached, and they themselves blew 2 14-point leads. And they were pissed off, and you had Ray Lewis going on about how nobody would have heard of Tom Brady if it weren't for the Tuck rule.
And nobody would have heard of Tom Brady without the Tuck rule.
And then on top of all of that, which one? Is it John Harbaugh who's their coach?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, John.
Yeah, John Harbaugh going like, oh, well, they cheated by, we didn't have enough time to react after the PA system announced that guy was an eligible receiver. It's like, so I see Ravens and Ravens sympathetic and Ravens aligned media people whining about the fact that their team just got outcoached. They don't even mention the ball thing. If the ball thing was a thing, and if it was noticeable enough that they can now say, oh yeah, that we noticed that too? No.
They're men.
That's right. You tell them, Ray. You tell them. What is this, Ray? What is this?
This is the National Football League.
Sorry. Like I said, I think it's unfortunate that they just have to have the specter hanging over them all the time because they're got one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and for my money, the greatest head coach of all time. And there's just no need for this stuff to happen.
Interesting note that I just saw on the bottom line here of ESPN. ESPN Kansas City. I don't know why they get to, why are they?
There's an ESPN Kansas City.
They're reporting that the 11 balls that were underinflated, they were actually reinflated by the referees at halftime. I don't know what difference.
I think honestly, to further Mike's point about what the effect it had on a game or not, the Patriots just blew past the Colts in the second half.
If the referees saw that they were underinflated,
why did they wait for a half? I guess would be my first question. Here's the thing I don't get either.
Well, because the Colts mentioned it to him in the first half, and Chuck Pagano didn't mention it to the referees.
Okay, but here's my question, all right, about this. Now, when I played baseball, both teams, we hit their balls and they hit our balls. And that's the way it worked. I always thought that was the way it was in the NFL. Like, you brought the game balls, and they used yours, and you used theirs just to avoid stuff like this. Is that not the case here?
Each offense provides its own footballs because the quarterbacks like different grips on the football.
Okay, I understand. Well, okay, so right out of the gate, then you've got...
Apparently, NFL quarterbacks don't like brand new footballs.
No, I don't blame them.
They're slick.
Yeah, they are.
What I think that goes into something else I want to talk about is why doesn't the NFL have just a standard set of balls that each team uses?
Right.
It seems silly that each team has to is even allowed to prepare their own ball.
Well, see, that's the thing too, because really, and like Mike brought up earlier with Aaron Rodgers, I mean, if everybody is scuffing them or doing whatever they have to do to get the football to their satisfaction, I don't understand why. First of all, I don't understand why you're allowing that, because if Aaron Rodgers throws the football better when it's overinflated than he does when it's normally inflated, that's an unfair advantage, I think.
Another thing that struck me, just to kind of touch on what you guys were talking about there, is that one of the reasons why the NFL doesn't really want to go into Vegas is, like we've heard, they don't like the gambling connotation. There's so much money involved in the NFL that they don't want anything to apparently the integrity of the game is super important because there's so much money involved. There's so many sponsorships involved. The integrity of the game must be maintained. If that's the case, then I would think that having the balls be handled, and god damn it,
no,
the
Mike,
balls have to be handled by a third party.
The best thing about basically a sports show is the maturity level that we all have during these discussions. We have not once made any sort of childish joke about balls so far.
No.
But you're
Mike's
right. He's
Mike's
absolutely right.
There does need to be a third hand on these balls.
Right,
It really
exactly.
does.
Yeah. It's always more fun with an extra person involved.
Everyone needs to agree on the state of the balls in play.
And how many hands can be on the balls at any one time?
As I say all the time, you get yourself an air compressor and some Crisco, and we've got a party now. But to seriously address the point, I guess I don't understand why, like you brought up, Mike, why would there not be a standard football that the NFL would provide that would eliminate these advantages? And if the ball is too slick to throw, then you adjust for that. In baseball, the umpires, they take care of all that stuff, I think. I think that, or before they even get the baseballs, they're rubbed in this mud to get rid of that sheen that's on a brand new baseball. I don't see why the NFL couldn't do the same thing.
The teams don't provide their own baseballs. Hockey teams don't provide their own hockey pucks. Soccer teams don't provide their own soccer balls. They're all, in basketball, the NBA, they have their standard basketball that everybody uses. I guess it's different in those sports in that, well, I guess baseball's the only one that's really kind of comparable because only one team is handling the ball at any given time.
Right.
As opposed to, like, a hockey puck is going back and forth between teams. Soccer ball, back and forth. Basketball, back and forth. I see the logic in having each team prepare its own ball, but...
But it's more fun to have somebody else prepare your balls. Come on.
Yeah, somebody else, a neutral party needs to be handling these balls. To not favor one ball over the other.
This is the thing, though, and I don't I don't know if it matters as much in football, but as a former catcher, I can tell you that if you allow me to prep the baseball for my...
Let me tell you, Greg's caught some balls in his time.
I've caught plenty of balls, believe me. If you allow me and my pitcher to prepare the baseball in the way we want it... if you allow that, then my team's got a definite advantage. Because let me tell you something. If I scuff one of your balls, it'll do things like you've never seen before. Oh, come on, Mike. I threw that one right in your wheelhouse here. Let's go.
I'm still laughing about the pitcher.
I know. I'm a catcher that's seen plenty of balls. I mean, come on.
A lacrosse stick has a head, a butt end, and a shaft.
And it catches balls.
It does.
I can't decide if we've reached a new high or a new low with this show. Well,
it's all relative, really.
Anyway, there is an inherent advantage to the orb that you use for your sport, or the oblong
orb,
the sphere in baseball, or the oblong thing in football. If you prepare it yourself, you can give yourself an advantage. That was my point. Somewhere in there, I don't know really what I was trying to say. I'm lost now.
Well, I mean, to simply end this discussion, fellas.
Oh, we should have ended it at me catching and seeing plenty of balls, but,
I have something poignant to say before we sign off.
As if we haven't said anything poignant yet?
Balls.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zach's Tabs.
Zach's Tabs!
Very nice.
Yeah. There's only one thing left, and it's kind of weird.
Okay.
Well, hey, we've been talking about fondling balls all night, so I don't know how much weirder it can get.
Well, I shouldn't have said that.
Oh, no.
Well, remember our time when we discovered the fleshlight? That's what I'm trying to and how you could attach it to iPads and things like that.
Oh, yes, societal claps. Yes.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Well, there's a new thing, a new product.
Oh.
Just spit it out.
It's called the Vag Ankle.
Yeah!
Oh, God. Oh, God.
I'm trying to think of a fun transition into this, but I'm just going to give you the link.
All right. Here we go.
Somebody can describe exactly what that thing is.
Oh!
For all those people out there who feel a fleshlight just isn't enough, now there's the vajankle, which, yes, is exactly what it sounds like. A replica of a dismembered foot with the vagina stuffed right up in the ankle. It's an art piece. It's a fuck toy. It's very, very conspicuous.
How?
The actual website, Sin Boutique, explains these things.
It's the most screwed up looking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Quirky feet have a vagina built right into the ankle.
Yeah.
What it is, it's a prosthetic foot with it cut off at the ankle, and coming straight up out of the ankle is a vagina facsimile. the vag ankle is in the left foot only. You can order the vag ankle independently or as a pair with the standard right foot. Now notice the right foot does not have the vagina portion.
No.
It's just a foot.
Yeah. This is the most screwed up thing I've ever seen.
Who was asking
with
for
either
this?
a French manicure or cherry red nail polish.
Who was asking for this?
Like, I understand that there are people that enjoy their little sex toys, like a fleshlight.
Like feet?
Well, I also understand that there are people that have foot fetishes. There are people like that in the world.
That's one I've never understood, but yeah, they're out there.
But this is combining the two in a way that I never thought possible, nor do I think was necessary, but it exists.
I'm not going to lie. I feel unnerved.
A little bit. Yeah.
You know, I don't feel comfortable in my own skin at the moment.
No.
I
don't know what way to feel about a prosthetic foot with the vagina on it.
It looks like something that H.P. Lovecraft would envision in a fever dream.
If you were someone that had a foot fetish, what joy would you get out of sticking your dick in an ankle?
Not to put too fine a point on it or anything.
From what I understand, the people into feet don't actually want to screw the feet.
But now they can, Mike. You don't understand.
Unless I've mistaken something this whole time.
Well, I mean, there's no possible way. There's no holes. But now they've taken out that problem and given you a hole.
Technology is just grand, isn't it?
Again, but the thing that's still weird, you can order a pair, but only one has the necessary function.
That just adds like a whole level of serial killer creepiness to all of this.
This is similar to like those Halloween props where people, like they put them hanging out of their trunk. So it's like, oh, I have a dead body in the trunk. But this, by the way, it's $179.
Well, I got to say the foot is very realistic looking. It really is.
Will they have it in different skin tones for different races? Because I'm only seeing it in like for a white people.
I'm just going to read a little.
Have a black and an Asian.
I'll be the brave soul here, and I will click on the link to Sin Boutique.
I was about to do that, but you go ahead. I'll meet you there. Hold on.
You can. Oh, there are skin tones.
Oh,
well, of course.
Here are the skin tones you can choose.
Oh, God.
Cream. Let that sink in for a second.
Uh-huh.
French vanilla. Peaches. Honey. Chai. Spice. Sugar. Dolce.
Wait, back up. So sugar, like just super, super white? Is that what that would be?
I don't know.
All right, well, keep going.
No, it's not like one of those T-shirt shops that when you click the color, it changes the color. But Dolce, Mocha, Cocoa, Chocolate, or Espresso.
You forgot toffee.
Did I say toffee? I thought
no,
I said toffee.
You missed toffee. Which...
And then, of course, the toenail polish, you can get French, cherry, or custom. The custom paint adds an extra... actually, if it's cherry or custom, it goes from $179 to $209. And if you buy the pair, it's $329.
Okay, this is from the website where we found this. It's Jezebel.com.
Yes.
Now
it's a member of the Gawker family.
Right. Now, what I think best is the headline. It says, "Wish feet have vaginas for banging? Your dreams have finally come true." And indeed they have. This is just the most screwed up thing ever.
We could have warp drive capable spaceships if we funneled the ingenuity we've dumped into the sex toy industry.
Oh, yeah.
Into, the sciences. But instead, this is what we've chosen to spend our time on.
Here's my thing, and this is what I always think of when I see something like this. Who woke up one day and went, you know what? I need to make a foot with a vagina on it.
Who was clamoring for this?
That's my thing. What makes you think of it in the first place? Mm-hmm. How do you get to this point? And then who do you sell it to? I got to think there's a market out there for it somewhere, right?
Uh-huh.
Or maybe not. Maybe it was just one of those things where the guy just said, I have to do this. But There's an awful lot of options there for something that may not sell very well, I'll tell you that.
I'm uncomfortable.
On the side, there's doll accessories. You can click on that, and you can see the various things that they have, like a tongue. Or you scroll down. There's
no, Zach, back up. It's not a tongue; it's a replacement tongue.
Oh.
Well, let's get it right.
Then there is. You also have a silicone anus. But at the bottom there is.
There they are. Okay.
Silicone samples, and
yeah,
you can see that there's espresso. Espresso is very black. Milk is the whitest.
I don't see sugar on here.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Maybe it is extremely white. I like the doll stand with wheels. That's a good idea. You put your doll on wheels.
That doesn't add to the creepiness factor at all.
Not at all.
I mean, really, the one that's the most useful is the little titty key ring, which is what you think. It's a very tiny boob that you attach to your keychain.
Just go to a job interview and pull your keys out with that on.
I don't even want to meet the person.
With a gift bag.
I don't want to meet the person that would put their keys on this thing. Oh, I like the head display bus. That's not weird or anything, is it?
I'm convinced this is an online store for serial killers.
No, just silicone body parts. And
I'm going to the main site now.
And two different sites of lingerie. There's wigs, swimwear.
Holy hell, they got full people.
Well, of course.
There's.
Of course they have full people.
No, I mean dolls, like big giant. Like,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no, and these aren't your blow up dolls.
No.
These are like very detailed mannequins.
Serial killing. This is
again detailed in a way that I never thought possible.
Yeah.
But again, here we are.
How do you look the UPS guy in the eye?
Well, it comes in a discreet plain brown box, Mike, so you don't have to worry about it.
I should hope so. Yeah, here's your vagina foot.
But wouldn't it be great if there was a big return address that said Vajankles on it? And
they do also have.
What if you're ordering internationally? Do they have to put vajankle on the customs?
They do also have silicone feet without the vagina and the ankle.
Oh, because
that's better, right?
They have they show the white version and the black version.
Equal opportunity weirdness. You gotta like that.
Some people aren't into white feet. We're all black feet.
This is.
So I suppose this is what Rex Ryan's going to be spending his Buffalo Bills money on.
Ooh, that's good. Well, that's a good reference, Mike.
Speaking of the Bills, I forgot to bring this up. So Doug Marrone.
Yeah, nice move, huh?
He leaves the Bills with his out clause, and he ends up being the offensive line coach for the Jaguars.
Right.
And apparently, assistant head coach.
Before we go a step further, I have to stop, and we have to commemorate the greatest segue in the history of radio, podcasting, television, anything. We just went, without even breaking a sweat, from Vajankles straight into the NFL. Just like that. Show me any other show that can do that.
Well, you know what? This is what you can. This is what you get when you have the world's funniest Canadian.
That's right. Exactly. That has to be the greatest segue of all time. All right, continue. But yeah, Marrone really.
No, that was the end. That was.
But
that was the coup de grace.
No, wasn't it also true, though, the reason he left Buffalo was because he couldn't handle that vicious Buffalo media?
Yeah.
Is that really what it was?
Yeah.
I thought it was because he thought he had done such a fabulous job.
To deal with the media.
I thought he left because he thought, I'm going to leave Buffalo because look at the job I've done and let the offers come flying in. I thought that's what was behind it.
Oh, the other thing, I don't know how I forgot to bring this up. The Maple Leafs have banned 3 fans.
Oh, yeah. Jersey Gate.
From the Air Canada Centre for a full year for throwing their jerseys on the ice against a 4-1 loss to Carolina the other night.
Look.
Well, they were losing to Carolina. I think they had a pretty good point.
Guys.
Did they punish them or reward them?
Yeah, that's true.
If they wanted to punish them, wouldn't they say, here are season tickets to the Maple Leafs?
Damn, those Penguins jerseys look good.
Are they wearing their alternates?
They sure are. Those are so nice. And they're playing the Blackhawks. This is a great-looking hockey game.
The Kings are going to start wearing their gold jerseys here in a week.
I honestly don't know if you can come up with a better-looking hockey game than this one. You've got the Blackhawks in white, and the Pens wearing their nice alternates. This is beautiful.
So,
2-1 Chicago, by the way, if anybody's interested. All right, so we done?
After the Vajankle, I'm not. I think I'm. This is why I say we need. You know what? We need another Dark Ages. We just need to bring everything back down to basic. We need to hit the reset button because it is clear by now that this society thing that we've been on has jumped the tracks.
A little bit. Where do you go from the Vajankle, really?
Well, I mean, tonight we've handled balls.
Yes.
And Vajankles.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the finer episodes in our illustrious history.
We've handled balls and dove into Vajankles.
All right. So, on that note, follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. Go to our website, basicallyasportshow.com. Mike, what's...
Basically a sex shop. You want condoms and a blow-up doll? Not here. Not here, sir. How dare you? How dare you insult us like that? Oh, you want just a standard dildo? No.
No.
We cater to a more particular breed.
Were you looking for an elbow to have sex with?
The vajelbo.
Maybe you're into knees. You
The
didn't think someone
vagina.
was hearing you well enough, so you wanted to put your dick in their ear. Now you can. With the vag ear.
Available only at basicallyaSexShow.com. And you know what? If you buy right now, we'll throw in a free Vajankle. You just pay the shipping and handling.
We'll throw in a nose. We'll throw in a second ear. But this second ear does not have a hole to have sex with.
The second ear is a non-functioning ear.
No, that's just one to caress and rub the earlobes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. Anyway.
So basically a geek show, what we've got coming up.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
So,
I just thought of something. We're going to talk. I'm assuming we're going to talk about the new paranormal show coming out.
Yeah,
that's going to sound positively normal from what we just came from.
That's true.
Also for sale, ghost vaginas.
No, that's what the sugar coloration's for.
It's supposed to simulate a dead body.
Hey, once your fucking ankles, okay, everything else is in play.
Severed ankles with vaginas in them.
Yeah,
once
so anyway.
that happens, everything else is in play, man.
All right, so basically geek show, yes.
So we're gonna do a double recording this upcoming Saturday. Greg, you're going to be joining us for basically a paranormal show.
I am indeed.
And if you would like to stick around for basically a geek show, you're welcome on that too.
All right. It'll be fun.
You too as well, Zach, if you feel so inclined, because we are going to be talking about sports video games, Madden, NHL, that sort of thing.
Cool.
I'm not interested. It doesn't have enough prosthetics with sexual orifices.
Not enough. Okay.
Do you have a Madden Xbox disc with, instead of a hole in the middle, it is a vagina?
I no.
You know that
instead of an Xbox, it's a sex box. And I'm sure if you put your penis in a sex box, I'm sure you too will get a red ring of death. Just in some place you didn't expect.
Especially if you're sharing.
Yeah.
All right. Check out Basically a Paranormal Show. That'll be coming out sometime next week. Basically a football show coming up again this week. Basically a geek show. And, of course, the always wholesome and family-oriented Basically a Sports Show. So on that note, we're going to call it a night. We will see you all next time.
Stay in school, kids.
Stay safe and lube your veg ankle.